Kipra is from the Facebook group, We Will Not Grow Weary, which I love the name of that. And then Kipra, you got this idea to do something that is completely real. You wanted to raise some support and feed healthcare workers. And you're
Yeah.
doing it.
I just thought it would be a great way. So We Will Not Grow Weary was just kind of a place for local businesses to feature what they were doing to help during this time. And then I noticed that a lot of locally owned restaurants wanted to help, but maybe, they're struggling during this time. So it was a good opportunity for people to be able to donate money and then us pump it back into the economy to these locally owned restaurants, and then take that food to healthcare workers who were dealing directly with COVID-19 patients.
I love how you've taken care of both. You saw two needs and you thought, because I know your mind and how it works, you're always like, how can I jump in and help this? So you thought, okay, let's get out there to local businesses, bring them. And some of them, even though they're struggling, I've seen that some of them have even decided to donate a portion of the food that you're taking to these hospitals and to the fire departments.
Yes, they really have. So it's amazing. So first, when we started, we had 200 healthcare workers. So I put out this little sheet and said, okay, which restaurants can do this for about $8 a plate? Well, we quickly grew to 1,500 healthcare workers. I said, how do y'all feel about $4 a plate? And so some, said they couldn't do it, which I totally get. We did not want them to do this at a loss. Others made it work. They made up dishes that would work for $4 a plate. It has been amazing. So they really are being generous. At $4 a plate, obviously, they are covering their cost. It's helping them, they have said, from a morale standpoint, from keeping their staff trained, because they can bring people in to cook some of these newer restaurants. So it actually has been a blessing for them. We have one that we're working with for next week, and she's just said, it just lifts her spirits because she has had to shut down. And so she's coming in, and several have opened specifically to make these meals. So it has been great. It is, like I said, it's not a windfall for them by any means. They are certainly giving. And the people who are donating, they're giving because and out of faith, honestly. What else? They don't know what this economy is going to look like for them. So some have given huge amounts and some have given small amounts, but we're able to pull it all together and make, hopefully, a bit of a difference. And the healthcare workers have been awesome with, the pictures that they're sending and showing us. It's exciting to see.
Kipra Anderson is along with us this morning, and we're talking about feeding the healthcare workers, how local businesses, restaurants have been helping out with that, and people donating. I'm very curious. I'm going to guess you're delivering them personally to the hospitals and to the first responders.
Oh, yeah, of course. No.
What is it like when all of a sudden you bring all this food and these meals to the healthcare workers and first responders?
Right. So I personally have gone out just a couple times. We have an incredible team of about 35 volunteers who go out and make these donations happen. And they are super excited and thankful, both the volunteers to get out and be doing something, special for someone, but the healthcare workers. So they don't have to go into the hospital or anything. Obviously, everything's very safe. So they have a phone number to call, and the different departments send someone out. So they get to meet someone from each, let's say they're headed to Greenville Memorial. Well, maybe they're taking food to 5 different departments. So everyone's, from each of those departments comes down, a representative or 2 from each department comes down and gets the food. And they smile behind their mask, we think, for the pictures. And it looks like it in their eyes that they're smiling. We've gotten sweet notes. We send a note with each delivery that lets them know how the food has gotten there through contributions from the community and these generous restaurants and our delivery drivers. And we ask them to text pictures to me. So that's why I'm making so many posts on the Facebook, because everybody's sending me pictures, not because I'm physically there making all of these deliveries. This week, for example, we have 26 deliveries going out. So it's quite a bit, and a lot are happening at the same time. Obviously, lunch going to places all at the same time and dinner going all at the same time. And we even have a big batch of snacks going out this week. So it's been fun, but the pictures are great. And some of these nurses and doctors are just getting pretty creative with the food in the pictures.
His morning crew.
Okay, we're talking about these Southern sayings. You see some of the texts that are coming in.
Yeah, we have Kathy Shirley that said, "Stick a fork in me, I'm done," which I have used that before. Now, my grandmother, when I was growing up, used to say, "I am full as a tick." And I thought, that is disgusting.
That does sound disgusting, knowing what ticks do. Jennifer is along with us on Zoom. Jennifer, for you, young lady, what is that saying?
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta?
Yes.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I heard it years ago. Instead of saying, oh, my land, or oh, my gosh, or the other, I always say, oh, my Lanta.
But say it like you say it, Jennifer. Like if you're in the middle of something and something just gets you, how do you actually say it?
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta. I love you, Jennifer. So
I love you.
We were on a girls' trip to New York, and this woman in the middle of Manhattan said, "Oh, my Lanta." And I don't even know what it was.
I don't remember either.
Oh, it might have been at the Today Show when you were like freaking out over seeing Matt Lauer and all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But yeah, I always say, oh, my Lanta. No matter if it's good or bad, it's always, oh, my Lanta.
I'm going to guess that is like Atlanta, right?
Yeah, without the A.
Without
Not
the A.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Just
Lanta.
put my.
Hey, I understand that you have some first responders in your family. Your husband and your son do what?
They do. They are firefighters. My husband is a firefighter with the city of Greenville, and my son is a firefighter with Gant Fire Department.
How is this whole COVID-19 working out for them?
Life is normal. Like in our house, everything's just flowing as normal as can be. Yeah, there's sometimes I get worried that they're gonna bring something home, but you just gotta trust God and go from there.
Yeah, and really, I like you said, life hasn't changed a whole lot because you are always married to a first responder. You're always the mom of a first responder. And so you kind of live that every day.
Yeah. Even during 9/11, I mean, like, this is every day for us. So that's what it is.
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta.
His morning crew.
Those Southern sayings. Yeah, you might as well take your mind off of COVID-19 and talk about Southern sayings. I'm Rob. That is Liz. It's Morning Crew on his radio.
And I think it reminds us of our grandparents or our parents. So it's a good mood thing. But Tony said, how's your mom or Nam?
Oh, the Mom and M's. That's
Mom
right.
and M's.
There's a lot of Mom and M's.
That's right. And then Lindsay, and I love hers, good Lord willing, and a creek don't rise. I have no idea what it means.
When I moved here 20 years ago from Tampa Bay, Florida, Tampa Bay, I'm telling you, that's the North.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. It's all transplants in Tampa Bay. When I first moved here, I didn't know what a hose pipe was because it's a hose where I come from.
Uh-huh.
And when somebody asked me to cut on the light, I'm like, what does that mean? Cut on the light? Cut on the light. I'm like, oh, turn on the light.
Or what about a buggy and a cart?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the old West. Jackie is along with us this morning as we talk about these Southern sayings. So, Jackie, we so have to know, what is your Southern saying?
Have you lost your ever-loving mind?
Now, do you say that, or was it something like your parents said to you?
Both. I guess you grow up, whatever you grow up here, and what if you say as well?
All right, so say it like you're saying it to your husband or your daughter. Go ahead.
Oh, I gotta be easy.
Well, when you know they're doing something that you don't think is probably too smart, you can say, "Have you lost your ever-loving mind?"
I guess people in the North don't say it like that.
It's just a nice way to say, "I think you're not making a smart decision."
Yeah, that's so true. How many times have you said it this past week?
Ooh, probably 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Okay, so a couple
It's
of
been
times.
a kind week.
See,
Yeah.
normally she works for the school system, so she probably says it more when we're not social distanced.
That's right.
That's true.
What do you do for the school system?
I'm a food service manager.
Oh boy, that's a lot of work.
It is. It's been a great career. I've enjoyed it.
I'm glad.
When the kids try to grab another drink or another cookie, then she can pull out the "Have you lost your ever-loving mind?"
That's right.
His morning crew.
Talking about these Southern sayings. Oh my, I remember when I first moved to the Carolinas 20 years ago. I guess I'm a Southern boy now because I come from Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is, I'm telling you, it's all north. It's transplanted people from Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, and New York. That is Tampa Bay, Florida. So when I heard hose pipe, I'm like, I had no idea what in the world you were talking about. It's amazing. So the texts are coming in. You should see this.
Yeah, we do have certain ways of saying certain things. Ray has one, though, that I don't know that I've paid attention to maybe, but she said, "Well, forevermore." Sounds like an Edgar Allan Poe poem or something. So I don't know what that. And then Tina said, "I did." So she tells her kids this: "I didn't stutter and your ears didn't flap." As in, you heard me.
That's a mama statement. Matthews from Northwest Georgia, Toccoa, Athens area, and said, "Wash rag and mash the button." Mash the button. I always pushed a button. I never mashed one until I came to the South.
Do you turn the light on or cut it on?
I turn it on.
I cut it on.
But I've had somebody ask me to cut on the light. The first time that happened, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Oh, my Lanta. That was Jennifer, right?
That was Jennifer, and she says it in the cutest, sweetest way. "Oh, my Lanta."
How do you apply it?
Just like you did. Like if you see something that, kind of blows your mind. The first time I ever heard her say it was in New York City. And, a lot of reasons to say it there, things that you can see. And she said, "Oh, my Lanta."
So this is, interpretation. Mind blown.
Yes.
Oh, my Lanta. Mind blown. Okay. So these are Southern sayings we're talking about at 800-447-7234. I think somebody wants to chime in on the open mic, which is on the His Radio app.
Good morning, Rob and Liz. This is Keith from North Carolina. Just a comment about the "Oh My Lanta," where that comes from is from the name brand of a over-the-counter medicine called Mylanta for like upset stomach or indigestion, heartburn. It's called Mylanta is the actual name brand. So that's where we get it from.
I vaguely remember that for some reason.
I guess. And I guess they said, "Oh, my Lanta" in the commercial or something.
They must. Now I've got to Google this thing and kind of look it up.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Talking about those Southern sayings in the middle of COVID-19 and social distancing. So here's some of the texts that are coming in. Bless your heart. I know what that one means. Mash the button. Bless your PEA-PICKIN heart and mom back. So when they leave, you're saying, "Mom back.
Mom back."
Mom back.
Bless your PEA-PICKIN heart. Is that worse than just the typical "bless your heart"? Like you are just a sad case right now.
You know what? That probably brings it to a whole new degree when you put the PEA-PICKIN in there. Yeah.
And Paul said, I've never heard this one, Paul. This is a little gross, but it says, somebody goes, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" He said, "I'm hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit."
Hair in a biscuit. Hanging in there. I get it. I absolutely get it.
His morning crew.
Dude.
I haven't seen this happen on the news like locally or anything, but there's a weatherman in St. Louis had some interruptions. He's trying to do, because he's social distancing, he's doing his weather reports from home. His name is Scott Connell, and he's at a station in St. Louis. He's trying to do his weather report, and his little dog, little Miss Maple, interrupts him.
Say what the best chance of precipitation is with Futurecast. Maple. Maple, excuse me. Hello, come here. Come here. Come here.
I love it.
He tried to do it like 3 or 4 times because it wasn't a live report. He was trying to tape it for another newscast. And she just kept, I think there was a squirrel outside the window. And this has happened to me, but it's happened while we haven't been live on the air, at least not yet.
True. I hear her dogs bark in the background because we're connected through Zoom. I'm at my house and she's at her house. And the dogs start going nuts. I'm like, keep them barking. I want to hear them bark when we're talking on the air.
And every time we try, they stop.
They know. She doesn't have an on-air light or anything. It's like they know. It's like, okay, I'm going to show that Dempsey guy 25 miles up the road that we know how to behave. when mama's on the air?
See, I think it's a conspiracy. I think Ace is the mastermind. He's the Pomeranian, or as I say, Pomajerkian. And he's like, Charlie, we're going to start barking. But as soon as you hear mama say his radio morning crew, shh, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
It is very difficult to get children to go to bed at night, especially if they're under 20.
Yeah, so
But
true.
this will help the little kids. Disney has opened up some phone lines. It's almost a direct line to Mickey Mouse, and he's going to help you with those bedtime stories. Did you read to your kids before they went to bed when they were
I
little?
did. Yeah, when they were little, I certainly did.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to help with that. You know, the kids will get excited. Okay, we're going to call Mickey or one of the other characters because it's not just Mickey that you'll talk to. You will hear from Goofy and Donald and Daisy and Minnie. Pluto, he's a little shy, so you're not going to get him on the phone. But I think it's pretty cool.
Hiya, pals. It's me, Mickey Mouse. I bet by now you've brushed your teeth and gotten into your pajamas. Tonight, I think I'll read Pluto his favorite story. It's about a brave dog who helps a lost bunny rabbit find his way home.
Oh, please continue.
I think that would be cool. I thought he was going to continue. Yeah, I think it's
You're ready, huh?
Yeah, I used to have to climb into bed with both boys, like one tonight, one tomorrow night. They were 17 months apart, and read them a bedtime story and coax them off to sleep. And Mickey is
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
There's a big celebration that's going on. This happens to be an animal care shelter, and this is in Florida. Check this out. When you see them on social media and on their Facebook page, that's the Palm Beach County Animal Care.
Yeah.
That is every worker in that place having their mask on. They're each in one of the kennels, and every kennel is empty.
Oh, that's so good.
It's empty. So they're not just doing adoptions, but they're doing foster care as well. And during this time of social isolation and distancing, a lot of people are like, okay, I'd love an animal. Some are like, I don't know if I can take care of an animal past COVID-19 and when we're back, but at the stay-at-home order, at least I can take care of one now. And so they've adopted or fostered every animal in that animal care clinic. It's a shelter. It's amazing.
Yeah, I hear you can foster somewhere between like 2 weeks and a couple of months or longer. And I think it's good, especially during this time. You're at home, you can give all your love to that puppy or kitty or whatever. But then afterwards, you know, you got to go back to work. You may not have the time.
Yeah, and they understand that. And so some of them will be going back looking for a forever home. But at least for now, kittens and puppies and dogs and cats, they've got a little place to stay because that animal care shelter, and that's in Florida again, completely
Rob and
empty.
Liz.
His morning crew.
You won't believe what they're testing out in England right now. A couple universities got together, and, you know, dogs are amazing. They can help calm down someone PTSD. They can sniff out diabetes if somebody's about to go have an issue. And so they are deciding, you know what, dogs can probably sniff out the coronavirus.
No way, really?
Yeah. And so these universities got together. They're going to start training dogs to sniff out coronavirus. And what they say, what happens is the dogs can smell the difference in our body odor as we have a virus like this, or if somebody's blood sugar drops, that kind of thing. And so they are going to start training these dogs. It is medical detection dogs is what they're called. And they're hoping they can get them trained maybe in the next 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. And then of course they'll be available for next season.
Do you know if it's a certain breed or does any breed do this?
No, they don't say. I think but you're right about the breeds being better at certain things. I know that golden retrievers and golden doodles are very good at like being compassion dogs, service dogs in that way. And I don't know, German shepherds I've seen have been very trainable in some of these aspects.
Yeah, they sure have. Well, that's neat. I'm glad because then they'll be able to detect it and then do something about it. Not that there's virus or anything, but at least you can start, treatment.
Rob and
stuff
Liz.
Like
His morning crew.
the nurses are working so hard. I was looking at some of the pictures. I don't know if you noticed on social media, but the doctors and nurses that wear the masks all day long, they're starting to get bruises.
Wow.
Yeah, they're starting to get bruises from these masks, and they're posting. Some have to wear those safety goggles.
Oh, sure.
Which you see around the face, you're seeing some of the bruising that's going on. And the same with the masks because they're really, really tight. And so there's this 13-year-old, he's Quinn. He's a 7th grader in Canada, and he made on his own, he's only 13 years old, a 3D printer version of ear guards.
So did they make it like it's looser, or I wonder what the ear guards actually do?
Well, I think it helps with the whole bruising thing. So it's
Yeah.
not as tight. They look like they're plastic, but he makes these with a 3D printer. He like made a dozen of them and brought them to some nurses and doctors. Well, now his printer is going like 24/7. He's made 500 of those things. He's got to send out throughout Canada and through portions of the United States. They're like, he's in demand now because of that.
So my takeaway, part of my takeaway is a 13-year-old has a 3D printer.
Yeah, right?
Where did he get it from?
Come on.
That's awesome.